Hey, hey, it's Monkeypuzzle, and welcome back to Monkeywrenching the Beast. This is episode number 73. It just keeps stacking up. And you saw a bunch of stuff in the beginning there. I'm back at the Twin Villages once again because it's been quite a phenomena. Yeah, the population just totally exceeded my expectations. And I felt like I need to deal with this because it was just going to become this exponential problem of breeding. So I think I have it licked. One of the things I did that you probably saw in the intro sequence is the iron golems were just accumulating down in the bottom of this water here at incredible proportions. There was just so many of them, just this giant, bustling, noisy mass of them. And I learned that I can make a Mistcraft crystal portal underwater. So it took a little work to get them all out of the way and get it done and get the water off here. It renders in two sections because there's a chunk boundary right there. And even though the wiki said that you couldn't build it across chunks, you can. So they all kind of accumulate down here, but when they get down to the bottom, they get teleported. So they don't accumulate and they get sent back up to the top. And occasionally, this is also a really good place to collect squids in their drops. So, a little black ink thing here. I wonder if I can put some transposers or something. Ooh, that's loud. That collect the ink for me up here. Anyway, that's kind of silly. But what else did I do over here? Well, you saw I had put the Mistcraft portal in the Mistcraft shop because everybody favorites that place, especially at night. They all go straight in there. So I was sending everybody to the lodge over here, and they were just accumulating incredible numbers up here. So I put a portal on the floor right here, which sends them next door to the Hobbit Hall of Art, and gets them over here. Make sure this has enough villagers. Basically, the doors and all these were causing a lot of the breeding, especially downstairs. So I wanted to make sure the quota of villages stayed in here. I also took down all the doors that were right here with the glass blocks outside them. I think this was creating a lot of breeding too. Got an extra portal back here that sends people upstairs as well, and then put another portal over here that takes the villagers into this nice house up on top of the hill up here as well. So just doing a lot of things to distribute the villagers and the golems all over the place and keep them from accumulating in these unmanageable little nodes. I think the breeding has stopped. I haven't seen any hearts or babies for a while, and these guys slowly are killing themselves with half heart fall damage here and there. I don't know why they don't have the sense not to do that. If I don't want them to, I think all the edges have to have fences like this. Yeah, so doing a bunch of NPC management. These guys are pretty cool, but their AI is not quite good enough to keep them out of trouble. And by the way, a lot of the golems that I'm sending up to the hill, they all hang out over here and trample the crops. And there's a bunch of them too, so good luck to any zombies trying to make it in here. The zombie issue that was a problem in the last episode or two is no longer an issue. There's the squid ink. So there's another project I'm going to do here in town in a minute. But first I wanted to show you some progress I made over at the bee base. And then we'll come to today's project. It was a little bit of a tangent, although I did say I'd do it before. So I'll tell you what that is right after we do our bee base tour. And I'm getting hungry, so I lost the ability to run. Alright, let's head over to the bees. So if you watched before, you saw that we were getting a huge amount of products basically on this hillside. A whole bunch of apiaries, and even though from this side they don't look automated, from the back side they are all piped up from over here. And each one of them now has proven frames as a product of our trading with the villagers. A little bit of a backlog of proven frames right now. They last a pretty good while, but with this automation they do get worn out. I'm curious what happens if you put a stack in. Normally they're not stackable. I can't stack them myself, but if you get them from the apiary's villager, they come in these stacks of 6, and I wonder if I put 6 in there at a time, if they would last longer or if the stack would go at the same rate. I'll have to do an experiment with that. As a matter of fact, now that I said it, let's do a little experiment. Let's see. How about let's go right over here, and we'll start from this one, and just as a control, we'll put 3 new proven frames right there. This is in with our noble bees, and in this one we'll put 3 stacks of 6, and then later on I'll compare this to this and see if this lasts 6 times as long or if it's just a waste and it'll go just as fast. We'll check it out later. I'm try to remember to do that. But so all these products were building up, and the one centrifuge was not keeping up. And this chest was full, and I had another chest that I had to use as backup. So I put in a second centrifuge. It's got its own power. It's got a gate underneath so that this doesn't give this power unless this has work, which it kind of does 24/7, so it's not really an issue. This little Buildcraft hopper distribution system here. So this obsidian chest is the buffer, and when either one of these hoppers is empty, which this one is about to be, the red pipe signal goes over to the autarkic gate and sends more and gets them filled up, and so that these things can keep processing. I did a little intervention and did some sorting here, trying to get them lined up so it'd be kind of one kind of comb going at a time, which makes it go through the hoppers a little bit quicker. So did that. Let me see, the B&A for short, this had filled up all the way, so I made an overflow tank for it over here. I think this will help a little bit. It's max size 12 by 12 Zycraft tank. Lost a little B&A here because I broke some valves, and even though it's supposed to save the information, it gave me most of the B&A back, but not quite. But anyway, when it gets just there, which is 640 buckets of B&A, the liquid DNA, then it'll start going back out that pipe right there, the liquid duct, and start filling this again. So we're only 530 buckets in there right now. Yeah, so that will never go above that. So this won't fill anymore. I think that also might be good. You know, there's a lot of debate whether Zycraft tanks actually cause excess lag or not, but part of that debate is if they're full. So this will keep this from always being full. Did the same thing over here with the honey tank. When it hits this valve right there, which is what it's doing right now, this stays at a constant 79% now. It overflows into this tank right here, and there's a little access area for all the tanks down here. So that's the overflow for the small to the big honey tank right here, and then here is the big B&A tank as well, so I can get in here and access the valves and play around with them. So those are the main upgrades. Oh yeah, and the bees were getting ejected from the analyzer. It wasn't keeping up as well, so I put in a second analyzer and got a similar kind of hopper buffer thing going on here. No gates on this one, just an iron pipe there, so that they can't go back. So once they get up here, they'll kind of go around until they find a spot, either an empty slot or one that they can stack in. So that keeps those running, and that is slowing down the honey buildup because it's using honey pretty well. And then, let me see, those get sent into the indexer, which is a mighty big buffer right here. And then these hoppers go into the gene pool, which is also working 24/7, turning these bees into the BNA, the liquid DNA, and a little bit more regulated here just to make sure this doesn't overflow, because I kept finding bees on the ground. So we would actually have a lot more BNA at this point. Then these are just the overflow of drones from all the hives over there. They all have 63 in them, and this is what doesn't fit. So a little bit more forceful, put an apiarius pipe here. The blue is any bee, the white is anything. So if a bee can go in here, it will. Got a sandstone pipe to bypass the gene pool itself, so they stack up in here. And if it can't go in there, it goes up in here. It's very important to set the white as anything, so that it has a way to go if it can't go in here. Same thing here. This gate keeps an eye on this hopper, and when it's empty, the redstone, the pipe signal goes down here. Our target gate sends more bees up, and then I had to put a third hopper up here because sometimes when a bunch of bees are coming up, they won't stack in here, and there's a few that need someplace to go, and they can go up there. So a little bit of an overflow. So got all this thing, all these systems fully regulated now and self-maintaining and able to keep up with their job. So, and a nice little side benefit up here of the way these hoppers are set up is that, if I'm working up here and I got some bees that I want to send into the gene pool, I can just drop them in either of these hoppers right here if they need to be analyzed, if they're already analyzed, and send them on their way without going all the way down there. So big improvements in the whole workflow of the bees. The next thing will be the gene machines. I'm going to have a breeding episode real quick. I wanted to put those in this episode, but I'm going to need to use them. So I think that should be part of an episode dedicated to breeding. Maybe we'll get some emerald bees in that episode or something else that's equally useful. I did enough manual breeding with these. So far I haven't used the genetic machines at all, but I've got all these cool first tier breeds of bees all the way down to industrious and imperial, and some of them even have traits like nocturnal that I managed to breed in through just trait selection and tons of generations. So at this point I feel fine isolating traits and inoculating using those gene machines, so that will come in soon. And then over here, the trees that I set up from our third round of breeding are almost entirely pollinated at this point. I'm very tempted to dig into them today as well, and I'm sure we'll get walnuts at least, if not any, a couple other varieties. I got this far without looking at any of the breeding charts. I have done it since just so I know if I'm going in the right direction, and I am. Just basically, when you get new varieties like this hill cherry here, these are the last of its original leaves, and these are the pollinated leaves. You can back cross them with some of the other ones that you can come up with, like the what is it, the mundane larch. Let's go down here and check them out. Let's see, the mundane larch, or the silver lime, which was one of these. I think, are you the silver lime? And then we got to the hill cherry and the teak, and there was a bull pine. Oh, that's the silver lime. That's the mundane larch. Anyway, continuing to back cross them with themselves and with the vanillas, the renamed vanillas, and you'll keep getting the species. There's just 2 of them that need to be done in special biomes, so we'll have to do that later. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go on. I've used up half the episode already just giving you the tour of stuff I've done. Let's go back to the village market and do a little project over here. Let's see, let me turn it to day just for ease of working. Take a little snooze. Okay. I wish I could do it like that in real life. Sleeping is not one of my strong points. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is the best place to do it. So much going on here already, but I think I'm going to choose this spot for my next little project, which I've got a chest full of stuff here. I'm going to try to set up a small automatic chicken farm that goes into an infernal furnace, and we can get cooked chicken, which is not really the goal, but chicken nuggets, which, oh my God, something I don't even eat in real life. Certainly not from the corporate store that's famous for selling them, whose name I will not mention in my sacred video. But the Mistcraft villagers are demanding them. I don't even know if I really need it, but we're gonna do it. So give me a moment. I'm gonna carve out at least an 8x8 space right here, and I'll get back to you when I've got that prepared. So there's a start. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I actually haven't done it yet. So we'll see if it's gonna work out. I'm kind of designing this on the fly. Thought a little bit about it last night as I was supposed to be going to sleep. But up here, we're gonna put water to flush this system, and oh yeah, gonna need something to protect our little infinite spring there. Okay, and these need to be pulled up and down with pistons. So let's grab some of those. Working in dangerous conditions here. Alright, some pistons. It's more than I'm going to need. And we need something to place them on. Let's go ahead and use the snow some more. Okay, and get those up there. Oh, you know what? I didn't make these sticky pistons. I'll be right back. Okay, that's better. Got them going from 1 block higher. Oops. They just basically need to be able to pull that block up out of the way. Conversely, I could have it pulling down from below, but the chickens are going to be down here, and I want as few things to mess them up as possible. Some of them are probably going to be glitching into the walls as it is and dying, so that's unavoidable. I'm not sure if the snow blocks would help at all. We could do that. I don't think they count as a transparent block. I think chickens can still die in them, but I don't know, just for consistency's sake. But if I had the pistons pushing up from under here, then they would be going into the extended arms of the pistons. Anyway, so let me get some water going in here. Azo. And let's get the second bucket. No, not doing it right. That goes there. And then we can pull from there. And then we can pull from there. Okay, so we got water back here. And then let me hook this up so that it can get a signal. I wonder, is red alloy wire so cool that you can do that? It is. That's hecka cool. Okay, and let's have the signal, I guess, coming from over here. We'll use stone for this. And just for now, let's grab a lever. Alright, there comes the water. And it comes right to the edge there. Perfect. Okay, so the way I want this to work is the feeders that come with Railcraft, the feed stations, they don't work with chickens. I've tried it. I've put seeds in them, and it doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do instead, is I'm going to use transposers, and that's not correct. Do I have a screwdriver in here? I do. So we want it, let's see, like that. And what I want to do, can I do this? No, it won't let me. I was going to try to wand of equal trade it. Is I'm going to make the whole floor out of transposers. And any eggs that get laid down here will be sucked up from the transposers and hopefully immediately ejected by something. I'm not sure if an ejector or a dispenser. And that is going to be how the chickens breed. So let me get all these transposers laid down, and then I'll bring you back in the interest of time. In case you don't know, transposers are a red power device that is able to suck up a single item without a redstone signal. So these should just work as they are. I think I'm ready for the next step. I'm just going to make some more of these. So I laid down all those transposers, and then I went ahead and created access to them from underneath, because what I'm going to need to do at this point now is lay in a whole bunch of iron pipe. These things I've never used. Well, actually I have used them. I used one in the skeleton grinder back at the base, but I think they're going to automatically eject the eggs into a pipe on the other side. Hopefully that works. It's not connecting, but I hope that's okay. We'll find out in a minute. But let me see. The idea is that they'd all go into these iron pipes that would then descend them all one direction to be collected at the end. So I did that, and then I tested it, and it doesn't work. Throwing all these stone blocks in here to see them get sucked up, and instead they just bounce around. It's like they're doing something to it, but it's not working right. I tested it over here, and when I didn't have the pipe, it has to touch it. It would eject out the back, but the pipe is in the way. They don't go into Buildcraft pipes, apparently. So I think I'm going to have to use pneumatic tubes. And that looks like it's definitely going to work. Let's see if that's the ticket. I think it's going to be. So then I have to design this to work with pneumatic tubes and not just Buildcraft. Let's see. There it goes. Okay, so redesign. Okay, did all that, put a chest there. Hopefully they won't see each other as a valid place because it's coming out the wrong end. And this will all go to that chest. Well, they got sucked up nicely. Yay! Okay, so that much is good. Alright, so now I've got a dispenser, and here's the next test. Will it see the dispenser as a valid inventory? Right there. So let's hook up to that and send some blocks through once more. Okay, got 43. Let's send about 13. Oh, 14. Are they going to show up in here? Yes, they are. Okay. Awesome. Now, the last trick I wanted to do is interesting. I was going to do it with Buildcraft. I want to make this fire, basically. And what I was going to do is put a Buildcraft gate on, and when an item was traversing the pipe, I was going to have it send out a redstone signal. So basically, each item coming in would create the signal, because I'm trying not to use a timer or something else that will create lag. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to get this to create a signal to fire the eggs back in and then just breathe through eggs. Let me think about it. Alright, I got something set up. I don't know if it's going to work. I basically going back to the idea I wanted to do. So the pneumatic tubes will send stuff to a chest. When stuff is in the chest, the autarkic gate will pull it out, hopefully one item at a time. And then up here, there's a gate on the back of the dispenser that if there's items traversing, it'll give a redstone signal. Now, whether or not this will produce enough of an off-on redstone signal to fire stuff, I don't know. So let's give a bunch of cobblestone or stone over here, and let's see what happens. Yeah, we got one fired off, but it's too efficient because this stays on the whole time. And so this is just loading up with stone. So that's not going to work. I'm going to go back to the idea of a red power timer, which I was trying to avoid because I just learned something reassuring, that a timer can actually be turned off when it's powered. So that's good because they cause lag and I don't want one running all the time. So let me see. First test is, does that count when it's on a powered block? So let's go ahead and lay that down. And let's see, we gotta switch it around. So we need the screwdriver back. And see, we'd want that to be coming out like that. Does that trigger the dispenser? It looks very glitchy to me. What's going on here? Let's increase the interval, maybe. Huh. Let me work on this. Meanwhile, here's the results of this experiment. So the 3 single proven frames are almost at the end of their life, and the stack of 6 are also almost at the end of their life. So this is a waste. It does not last 6 times as long. Okay, found that out. Leaping forward into the future, I think I'm going to show you what's, if not the finished deal, at least a working prototype. I did the whole thing on camera, but in the interest of not having an hour-and-a-half long video, I'm going to leap to the end here. I'm not sure which parts I'm going to edit out, so I'm going to do a quick recap of the whole thing and show you what happened here. One of these days I'll have a streaming account, and hour-and-a-half, 2-3 hour deals can be more appropriate. Anyway, there are all our nice chickens on their lovely stylish floor of transposers. They glitch up and down through them, but they don't seem to actually fall through them. That's just this little visual glitch thing that happens sinking into the floor. But it picks up all their eggs, and you can see that the dispenser is picking them up and firing them out real nicely. So that's working. So I got this done up with transparent blocks so that when the egg hits them, if it gets embedded in the wall, they don't suffocate in the glowstone or the glass, and it makes a nice kind of looking target. The finished apparatus for the dispenser has a gate on it that gives a redstone signal when the inventory is empty, and that turns the timer off so we don't get extra lag from timer working. when nothing's in there. But if there is something in there, we get a pulse per second, and the dispenser had to be inverted for this to work. So we got the redstone torch over there. So now I can cover this up and make it look a little bit better. I could always put a cover panel over that torch. We'll see. Let me show you down here real quick. So yeah, all pneumatic tubes down here, and they're successfully delivering to the chest, and everything that goes into the chest goes up, except I added a diamond pipe where only eggs can go up. So when I drop other things in here, they can get separated out, or if a chicken dies or whatever. Most of these are just ghost chickens that are glitching up and down. Occasionally one is actually stuck down here, like maybe that one's not. Oh yeah, there it is. And then I gotta grab them and throw them back up. I should come up with some sort of return system for chickens that end up downstairs that brings them back up here. Anyway, yeah, the water elevator, the mob elevator, did not work for chickens. I don't know if there is a way to do it successfully for them or not. But we have the crystal portal here, the Mistcraft crystal portal, which is teleporting them up there. And I'll show you that in a second. And let me see. Oh yeah, we're chunk loaded. So this whole thing keeps working whether I'm here or not. And then we've got our little RS latch for the flush. This starts the flush immediately, and then the return turns it off. So that's what the RS latch does. This signal makes this on, and then this signal will make this off. And this has these newfangled red power repeaters on it, so I didn't have to have a whole string of them. And I've got it timed just right, so that the time between this and that is just the amount of time it takes to flush it. So let's go on upstairs and see the final deal. Let me see, finish explaining it before I turn it on. So the Mistcraft portal takes them to right here, and this is where they get their 50-50 chance for more life or death. And occasionally one will stay right in there and drown, which is unfortunate. But for the most part, they go either way very quickly. And so that means we won't lose all the chickens ever. There's always half of them get turned back in to keep the whole thing going. And what else can I tell you here? Well, I tried to come up with something else for killing them. I tried the Zycraft quartz crystals, but they weren't effective enough. It would have taken quite a bit of them. So we went back to our good old melee turtle here with his beautiful blue sword. He kills the chickens as they come up, and stuff gets pulled out of his inventory. The feathers get put into here, and I just end the gold pipe right here and just drop the raw chicken into the infernal furnace just like that, and it seems to work just fine as far as I can tell. And then I added a nice little smart golem here who picks up chicken nuggets and cooked chicken and puts it in this chest. I made him smart so that he won't try to jump down here and pick up any eggs or anything else that ends up around here. Yeah, and the infernal furnace with the bellows and everything. It's very nice looking animation. It's got its little top on it to hold the items from the pipe. So with that, I think I'm ready to give you a demonstration of the finished deal. So I've got a button wired up here. So let's check it out. That opens, flushes, and in just the amount of time it takes when they start to fall back down, that closes back up. They get divided in half, and the turtle is doing its job very well. And then all the items are coming through. Here come the chickens, and they seem to get dropped in there just fine. This unceremoniously ejected out the end of the Buildcraft pipe. The one time I've done that on purpose, and it seems to be fine. I did block all this in so that they couldn't pop out a corner. And then everything's popping out this side, and the golem goes ahead and picks them all up and yeah, puts them in there. Eventually, I need some brains and jars to pick up all the XP that's going everywhere, but it seems to be going fine. After a few trials, we're almost up to 2 stacks of chicken nuggets. I hope those thaumaturges, the village guys, are happy because, yeah, they're pretty lucky. One thing is I would like to be able to separate out the chicks. I don't know how to do that, so they get kind of brought along with the whole thing. Only half of them get lost, and I leave these guys for a while to automatically breed with that whole system right here. So right now I've got it on manual. Eventually I'll put it on a timer, so this happens whether I'm here or not. But I want to put brains and jars in first to get the experience. And occasionally there's items here that the turtle won't pick up, so I should put another transposer under there too to pick up any miscellaneous items that end up in here. But for the most part, I think we've got an automatic chicken breeder, chicken nugget maker here out behind the village in the snowfield. What is this? This is a ice wasteland. I want to put a glass cover over this and nice it up a little bit more. But yeah, that's it. So this is the end of Monkey Wrenching the Beast, number 73. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have this up this weekend sometime. And then I'm going to follow up with another round of Infernal Mines. Time to make some progress there. Record another 3-4 episodes in a row and get those up. And if I can get a few more of these in the meantime, I'll mix them up. But either way, I'm going to try to keep them coming. I really appreciate you all's support. It's really fun. I have an unprecedented number of subscribers at this point, 430 something, which seems so large for me. That's a few movie theaters full of folks, so I really appreciate that. And we're going to keep them coming as can't stop playing. This is too much fun, and it's way more fun to share it with you than it is not to. So thanks for watching again. This is Monkeypuzzle, and I'm signing off. Bye-bye.